Hi, it's me again. This week for your ToSEEC writing, because it's December and we're getting into the holiday season and into the snow season, we're going to be writing about snow and activities that you can do in the snow. So you are working on this with a group. Your leader is going to stop you and tell you what things to do, your table leader. You are to be working on this as a group. Share your answers. Okay, so this is our activity. So we have this ToSEEC practice. Here is your worksheet. You'll see that up here, it does tell you exactly what you need to have in your answers. So please don't ignore those. Also notice that right here is your prompt. So you're going to restate that question. And here is all of the information where you're going to get your evidence. Okay, I'm excited for the first snow. I can't wait. Do you want to build a snowman? I do. Okay, step one. Read the question, also known as the prompt. A lot of times you'll have to look at the prompt, and the question will be at the very end. And then, of course, when you find that, you're going to have to get rid of the question words. So here is the prompt. What is one activity you can participate in during a snowfall? Provide evidence from the text to support your answer. So here is our question, and we're going to get rid of our question words so that we can start our topic sentence like this. And then don't forget to answer it. Okay, so that's just our prompt. So the thing that we're doing is we're just reading it and we're making sure that we understand what we're supposed to do. So the next thing is read the text thoroughly, monitoring and clarifying if necessary. Remember that monitoring and clarifying means that if you do not understand what you are reading, you need to stop in the name of reading and go back and start again. So, so if you are like, what are we talking about? You need to stop. You need to say, wait, guys, I need to go back and reread that. Okay, so here it is. ToSEEC practice snow, the directions. Read the passage and answer the questions. Make sure you prove your answer by providing quotations and evidence. When it snows, there are so many fun things to do outside. One activity that might be entertaining is building a snowman. You can roll big snowballs and stack them to make the body. Then you can add a carrot nose, buttons, and a scarf to bring your snowman to life. A snowball fight can be very enjoyable when it snows. You can scoop up snow, pack it into balls, and toss them gently at your friends. Notice it said gently. I don't know if you ever ignored that part. I think you do. It is a fun way to run around and play as long as everyone plays safely. Sledding is another pastime that makes everyone happy. You can ride a sled down a snowy hill and feel the cold wind on your face. It's exciting to zoom downhill, and you can climb back up to do it again and again. Snowy days are full of fun activities that make winter exciting for everyone. Okay, so now that we've read it, the third step is using a highlighter on your graphic organizer. Highlight the evidence sentence that proves your answer, and you will use this sentence as quoted evidence. Okay, so when I say stop, you're going to grab a highlighter. You're going to think, what is one of the activities, because 3 are mentioned in the article. I'm going to pick one of those, and I'm going to find evidence that proves the same as my answer. So in other words, I'm not going to say, ooh, you can go sledding, and then I'm going to have evidence it's about snowball fights. Get it? So if you're going to say sledding, you need to give the evidence about sledding. If you're going to pick snowball fighting, you have to pick the evidence about snowball fighting. If you're going to pick sledding, pick the evidence for sledding. Stop and highlight the evidence that you want to pick. Go. Okay, now that you have done that, we're going to go back to this sucker right here. All right. And we're going to write our topic sentence. And so we said, what is one activity you can participate in during a snowfall? Provide evidence from the text to support your answer. And we said, cross off. I can't do it here. So we're going to cross off. That doesn't work. Here, I want to do it like this. Let me see if it works. No, wrong. Don't do that. Okay, so this is the, sorry, I'm an old lady trying to do technology. It never works out. Okay, so those are question words. So we're going to get rid of those, and then our topic sentence is going to be the words after it and an answer. So you're going to stop the camera and you're going to write your topic sentence now. Go. Now that you have written your topic sentence and you have discussed it with each other so that you know that you have a good topic sentence, you're going to go to step 4. Write your response in the graphic organizer worksheet. Make sure to use ToSEEC. Okay, so the next part is, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a little behind. And I wrote this and made this. Sorry, restate the question, answer the question in your own words. We already did that. Okay, then in the second box, you're going to provide evidence. And evidence from a quote is a quote from the text is the best evidence because an expert wrote that, not just a cute little 10-year-old kid that goes to Summit Station Intermediate. And so when an expert says it, it becomes more credible. It becomes more believable. It becomes more trustworthy. And so you're going to use a quote with specific examples. So if you're going to say it is sledding, use the evidence that has sledding in it. If you answer that it's snowball fighting, use the evidence that has the snowball fighting in it. If you're going to say that it is making a snowman, use the evidence that has the information about the snowman. Okay, and then you're, of course, going to use one of these. Don't forget to use the title of the author, not the title of the article, and the word the author. If you know the author, go ahead and write it. If you don't, it's fine if you just write the author. So stop what you're doing, stop this video, and complete your evidence. And when you're finished, oh, by the way, don't forget to look back at the highlighted stuff that you wrote. And when you're finished, you may continue. Okay, now here's where we get on with the hard part, the elaboration. Remember, when you did your topic sentence, I mean, you really didn't have to write that. It was already written for you. You really didn't have much to write on your own here because you just did a sentence starter and then you quoted from the text. So those weren't your words. But now that we're getting ready to do elaboration, this is your chance to shine. This is where you, my friends, are writing as much as you possibly can. So that little box, I'm going to suggest that you use up that whole box and then maybe turn it on the back. What we don't want to do with elaboration is say, this proves that that making a snowman is an activity you can do in the snow. Because that is not an elaboration. Elaboration means to tell me more. Did you tell anybody anything more when you said this proves that you can make a snowman in the snow? No, you didn't tell me anything more. So you need to be able to write things from your brain, okay? So you're going to write either this proves, this shows, this evidence proves, this is important. So with elaboration, you're proving that your evidence was important, okay? You're proving that your evidence was good. So after you do this, you use the part of the question to restate what you were answering. So this proves that making snowmen is a fun winter activity. And then you add the word because. So That's where you start to elaborate, because you are actually using this word because. Okay? So make sure that you don't just stop there. And then let's go down to the next line. Okay. So now this is still in the elaboration box. You're explaining your evidence further in your own words. So you're going to find words that that you can explain. In this case, it's okay if you were to define snow, or if you were to define precipitation. For instance, if you were to say, snow is a type of precipitation, and then you say, oh, the word precipitation means, a type of water that comes from the clouds. So any of these words to define is good. Okay. Another thing that we want to do to make our evidence more thoughtful is, what would life be like, we say, if it didn't exist? But I don't want you to keep using if it didn't exist. Don't forget, you can use without snow, this is what it would be like. If there was no such thing, that should be thing. If there was no such thing as snow, this is what it would be like. If snow didn't exist, this is what it would be like. And don't just say you wouldn't be able to do these things. Okay, what else wouldn't you be able to do besides, you can't just say, without snow, you wouldn't be able to make a snowman. Duh. Without snow, come on, think. This is your opportunity to write. Without snow, we wouldn't have snow days. Come on, dig deep, pull it out. Okay, what would life be like if we didn't have snow? And then you have your conclusion sentence. Let's move on. Okay, so for our conclusion sentence, we start with the conclusion sentence starter. Oh, wait. Go ahead and stop and write your elaboration. Now stop the camera, write your elaboration, and then come back. Sorry. Okay, now that you have written your elaboration, sorry, I got a little ahead of myself there. We're going to make a conclusion, and we start with, clearly, obviously, as you can see, all in all, altogether, by and large, without a doubt. In conclusion, in summary, you can use any of those. We would prefer that you try something different than in conclusion. It's a little overused since you used it 80 gazillion times in fourth grade. And then you are to restate the main idea of the text or your topic sentence. And we want you to make sure that you change up the words. Use synonyms. Answer the question again in your own words. So we said one activity that you can do in the snow. So as you can see, and let's say that you pick sledding. Riding on a sled instead of sledding. Riding on a sled is one activity. Can you think of another word besides activity? One fun thing. No, we don't use thing. One fun activity. I'd have to look it up. You can look it up in a thesaurus. One activity you can participate in the snow. And then change it up a little bit so that it's not exactly what I said, because that was a little bit too exactly like the topic sentence. Step 5, and this is the most important one that you guys are not doing. Will you please reread this? Point to each word as you go, because your brain always puts words in there that your hand didn't put. So read it as you point and make sure that it makes sense. Make sure that you don't have any misspellings if the word is in the text, because guys, that's just lazy. That's just lazy. If the word is up there and you're misspelling it, I'm marking it wrong. I don't know about the rest of your teachers, but I'm marking it wrong. I will do -1 if the word is right there. All right. And then check for correct punctuation, spelling, grammar, and capitalization as you are rereading your text. And then you're done. Have a great snowy day. Bye.